So you're curious about AI, huh? Especially with all this buzz about Chat GPT and all these AI
It
tools.
seems like it's everywhere these days.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you're definitely in the right place. We're taking a deep dive into a couple of really interesting sources that you provided.
Should be fascinating.
Yeah, one is an ad for an AI workshop in Switzerland, of all places.
Switzerland. Interesting.
I know, right? Like, who knew?
Well, they're known for being cutting edge.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Very innovative. And the other source is an article about something called the EU's AI Act.
Oh, interesting. That's becoming quite important in this whole AI landscape.
Yeah, it sounds kind of dense, I'll be honest, but trust me on this. This stuff is important.
Definitely. It affects everyone.
Exactly. By the end of this deep dive, you'll not only know how to level up your own AI skills, but also understand the bigger picture. Like, how is this tech being shaped for the future? Get ready for a crash course in navigating the exciting,
And sometimes complicated.
yes, sometimes very complicated world of AI.
That's true.
First up, let's head over to Switzerland, like I said, because they're kind of becoming this hub for AI. Who knew? Crelengo, that's the company behind these workshops, has cleverly named their courses AI Hero and AI Visionary.
Okay.
I see what you did there, Creolengo.
Yeah.
Playing on those secret superhero aspirations I think we all harbor.
Well, yeah. Everyone wants to be an AI hero nowadays.
Exactly. Nobody wants to be left
It's
behind.
a brilliant marketing tactic, really. It taps into that fear of being left behind in the AI revolution. Am I an AI hero or am I destined to be an AI zero?
Ooh, I like that.
But really, both of these workshops cater to different levels of experience, so there's a valuable starting point for everybody.
That's good. That's good. So for those of you just dipping your toes into the AI pool, their AI Hero workshop is specifically designed for beginners. And they really emphasize a no judgment and fun environment, which I think is always reassuring, right? When you're venturing into unfamiliar
Well,
territory.
absolutely. Especially with something like AI, it can be very intimidating.
It can be very, very intimidating.
Yeah.
And get this, for 350 Swiss francs, you get to learn the ropes using entirely free AI tools.
Oh,
Now, whether that price tag, whether it holds its value compared to all the other AI learning resources out there is another conversation. But it does make you wonder, are these paid workshops really worth it when there's so many free resources available?
that's a very valid point. And honestly, it really highlights the importance of doing your research and figuring out what learning style works best for you.
Right.
Some people, they thrive in those structured workshop settings, while others might prefer a self-paced, online course.
So true. So true. Okay, so let's say you've already, dabbled.
You've gotten your feet wet.
Exactly. You've played around with ChatGPT a bit. Maybe you tried your hand at crafting some prompts, things like that. The AI Visionary Workshop now, this is where things get a little more interesting.
Okay.
This one requires a bit more of a commitment. Financially, and in terms of prior knowledge, this one will set you back 690 Swiss francs.
It's getting up there.
It is.
Yeah.
And it requires a paid ChatGPT subscription.
Sure.
So clearly they're targeting a more serious, more invested crowd for this one.
Right. And that's reflected in the curriculum, too. They go into much more advanced concepts like things like crafting very specific prompts to get really tailored outputs, and then even customizing those AI models for your own, very particular needs,
Right.
really harnessing the power of them. It's amazing how quickly things are going from just basic AI literacy to, mastering these more nuanced applications.
It really is. However, one thing that did make me chuckle when I was reading the workshop's long list of unavailable dates, they've got a lot of dates on there where you can't sign up.
Yeah,
Clearly they're onto something with this whole AI thing.
there's a demand.
There is. All right, let's switch gears now and dive into our second source, which takes us from the Swiss Alps to the heart of the European Union. This article, written by Karina Zing, delves into something called the EU AI Act, and it's relevant even if you're not, sipping espresso on a Swiss balcony right now.
Right, because the EU is often kind of at the forefront of tech regulation.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what they do has this ripple effect across the world.
Right.
So even if you are miles away from Brussels, understanding this AI Act is kind of like getting a glimpse into the future of AI governance.
Okay, so let's demystify this whole AI Act thing.
Yeah.
Because it does sound a little intimidating, like something out of a sci-fi novel, right?
Yeah.
The AI Act.
Well, I mean, it sounds very official. But in essence, it's really just about setting some ground rules for AI, like a set of guidelines to make sure that it's developed and used responsibly.
Okay, that makes sense. So how does that actually work in practice? How do you set ground rules for something like AI?
Well, they've broken it down. The AI Act categorizes AI applications into 4 different levels of risk, and then each of those has its own set of rules and regulations.
Okay, so let's go through these risk levels.
Mhm.
Like, what kind of stuff falls under the lowest risk category?
So think about like the AI tools that we use every single day and we don't even realize it.
Okay.
Like spam filters, those things that keep our inboxes clean, or spell checkers, things that keep us from having typos.
It seems so simple.
I know, that's what they classify as minimal risk.
Minimal risk AI.
Right.
Okay, so pretty straightforward. What about the next level up?
So moving up the ladder, we have limited risk AI. And this is where you get into things like chatbots, those things that answer customer service questions online, or those AI assistants that help you schedule appointments. And the key here is really transparency. The user needs to know they're interacting with an AI and not a human.
So setting those expectations.
Exactly.
What happens when we get into high risk territory? That sounds a little more intense.
Right. Because high-risk AI systems, these are the ones that are being used in areas that have a really significant potential impact on our lives.
Yeah.
So think of things like hiring processes or loan applications or even healthcare diagnostics.
Wow.
These are areas where we need to be extra cautious.
Because the stakes are so much higher. Like if something goes wrong with a spam filter, it's really not the end of the world. But with
Yeah.
these high stakes applications,
Yeah, the consequences of AI errors or biases could be much more severe.
exactly.
Right.
And it's not always about intentional harm. Sometimes these AI systems can just, even with the best intentions, perpetuate existing biases or even create new ones based on the data they're trained on.
Absolutely, which
Oh,
is kind of a scary thought.
That is a little bit concerning.
Yeah.
So how does the AI Act address that?
So for these high-risk AI systems, the Act actually mandates rigorous testing and data quality checks and even ongoing monitoring to ensure that these systems are fair and transparent and accountable. It's all about minimizing the risk of any unintended consequences and really making sure that these powerful tools are being used ethically and responsibly.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've covered minimal risk, limited risk, high risk. What about the final frontier, unacceptable risk? That sounds pretty ominous.
It does. It does sound ominous, doesn't it?
Okay.
This category is for AI applications that are just deemed so potentially harmful that they're basically banned within the EU.
Wow.
These are technologies that are considered to pose a clear threat to fundamental rights or safety.
Well, that's kind of reassuring in a way. Like they're drawing a line in the sand.
Yeah.
Certain applications of AI are just off limits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, it's a very strong statement. It reflects how committed the EU is to fostering, this responsible AI development. And they're not just trying to, put on bandages after something bad has happened. They want to actually anticipate and then hopefully mitigate any potential harms from the very beginning.
So this AI Act seems like a really big deal. It's not just about regulating technology. It's about shaping, like you said, the future of AI in a way that aligns with, I guess, with our values and our interests.
Right.
But what does this actually mean for, someone like our listener who's just trying to navigate this rapidly evolving technological landscape?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because on the one hand, we have these Swiss workshops that are promising to turn you into an AI hero.
Right.
And then on the other hand, you've got this very complex EU legislation that's trying to set these boundaries for AI.
Right.
And it's easy to feel stuck in the middle.
It is. It's like, do I need to master these tools before they're even allowed to exist in this form?
Right. It's like, what do I do? Well, what's really interesting here is that both of these sources are pointing to the same underlying message.
Okay.
And that is that knowledge is power.
Okay.
The more that you understand about AI, how it works, what forces are shaping the development of it,
Right.
the more empowered you will be as you're navigating this really rapidly changing landscape.
So it's not just about becoming an AI hero in a technical sense, but like an informed citizen who can participate in this broader conversation
Yes, exactly.
about AI and its role in society.
Yes.
Yeah.
Think of it this way. You don't have to be a mechanic to drive a car, right?
Right.
But understanding some of the basic rules of the road, how to maintain your vehicle, having some awareness of the potential hazards, it's going to make you a much safer and a more confident driver.
That's a great analogy. So being aware of the capabilities, but also the limitations of AI. And like you said, making those informed choices
Yes.
as we're interacting with this new technology.
Exactly. It's about asking those questions like, what data is this AI tool using? How is it making its decisions?
Right.
What are the potential implications, both good and bad, of me using this tool in this particular way?
So it's less about becoming an AI expert overnight and more about cultivating that healthy sense of curiosity, I think.
Absolutely. And the great thing is there are so many resources out there to help you along the way. You've got online courses, we've got workshops like our Swiss friends are offering.
Yeah.
We even have podcasts like this one that are dedicated to kind of demystifying AI and making it accessible.
And don't forget just the power of experimenting.
Yeah.
Like play around with these tools.
Yeah.
Test their limits. See what they can do. The more you interact with them, the more comfortable you'll become. You'll be like, okay, I get this.
Exactly. And just remember that this whole world of AI, it's constantly evolving. So just embrace that learning process. Stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, don't be afraid to ask those questions.
Beautifully said. Now, we've thrown a lot of information your way today, from Swiss AI workshops to EU regulations. It's a lot to process. So as you continue exploring this exciting new frontier, we'll leave you with this. What aspect of this AI revolution excites you the most? And what aspect, if any, gives you pause? Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into this ever-evolving world of knowledge.